Okay, welcome citizens of Canyon City and all others who are present and available. And welcome to the City Council meeting, regular City Council meeting for May 4th, 2026, and have the agenda before us. So I am going to make a few changes on the agenda just to make things work. We've got some doggies that we're going to put right up front because they don't want to stay and relax back there with the rest of you. So we're going to put them on the front. But if the clerk would announce the roll, that would be great.
All present.
Okay, very good. And Ryan Robinson, if you would come forward and offer the invocation, please.
All right, let's pray. God, we come before you tonight, grateful for the city and for the people gathered in this room. We ask for your presence to rest on this meeting. Give them wisdom, humility, clarity, and we ask for peace for every single person in this room. We pray for our cities, for our families, our neighborhoods, our schools, our businesses, our first responders, and every single person who calls this place home. Let this community be marked with peace, justice, kindness, and hope. Guide this council tonight, Lord. Help every decision to be made with integrity and with a genuine desire for the good of the city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Ryan. And now the Pledge of Allegiance, if we could. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may be seated. And with that, the next order of business is we have a new council member. So Sarah McCullar, I would ask that you come forward and the clerk will come down and give you the oath.
I, Sarah McCullar, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the State of Colorado,
of the State of Colorado,
and the Charter,
ordinances,
laws, and regulations
of
of the City of Canyon City,
and will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter
upon which I am about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
As soon as Sarah gets done signing that, she's welcome to come up and join us. While she's doing that, if you do have interest in speaking and you have not filled out one of these forms, if you could do that. It's not counting for the public hearing coming up, but it does count for what we're going to do shortly. So again, make sure that you fill those out. Sarah, welcome. Okay, with that, I would like to invite the chief up, and we're going to talk a little bit about a fundraising that took place. Excuse me, we need to do the fundraising, yes, okay. So Christy's on Main. Are you here? I didn't see you out there. So please come on up, and the chief, and Chief, it's all yours. You guys did a great job a couple Saturdays ago.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, today on behalf of City Council, the PD wants to recognize two very special local business owners, Joe and Christy Keegan, whose kindness and hard work brought in more than $3,300 for our canine unit through recent fundraiser at Christie's on Main, filled with delicious donuts and delicious treats. Their efforts demonstrate clearly what makes this community special. People stepping up, supporting programs that protect and serve us all. Their generosity helps us ensure our working dogs will continue to have the training, equipment, and care they need to do their jobs safely and effectively. But just as importantly, it sends a message. This community believes in its police department, and we stand stronger when we support one another. Acts of generosity like this remind us that public safety is a shared mission. As Sir Robert Peel offered in 1929, the police are the public and the public are the police. When our community invests in our K-9 teams or any of our other service-based programs at the PD, we all become stronger, safer, and more united. And I wanted to take this time tonight and thank these two very special people, Christy and Joe.
So if you'd like to say anything, you're welcome. Council members, we want to get a photograph. You're going to have to do this twice. The rest of them will coordinate and make them all happen at the same time. But let's go down and get a photograph with these fine folks. And also, if you were there and got a donut that day and put in the tip jar, thanks so much for what you did as well. So come on up and we'll get a photograph with you.
You guys coming up?
We're gonna place Aries. Wherever Aries the dog is, just don't say that. Try to find a place and start
Maybe have full Proclamation.
You guys can scoot in for me so I can get everybody together before they bring the puppy dog in.
Hey, Aries, don't bite anybody.
Okay. He heard Ryan was tasty. Okay, are we ready?
There we go.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the readjustment there. That way we can have the doggies depart if they choose to do that. The next thing on the list is we have two people requesting to speak. Again, if you would like to do that, please fill out a form real quick. And then as soon as we get done with the folks who are wanting to address the council, we will start through the proclamations. Motion, there's a motion on the floor from the doggie. Yep. Joey's got to do the second on that one. So, okay, Rochelle Whitney. Welcome.
Thank you.
Make sure that mic is pulled down toward you too, if you would.
My name is Rochelle Whitney, and this is my sister, Katrina Shoemaker. And we're longtime citizens, actually born and raised here, and then went off, lived our lives, and came back here. And for anyone that doesn't know, I'm here to talk briefly about the 9th Street project that's going on, because 4 weeks ago today, our property was flooded at the corner of 9th and Whipple as a result of the current project. And we have requested reports regarding the flood, but we have not received those yet. So I want to make sure that I do whatever I need to do to get those. But it's our understanding from the gentleman who's the contact person for us with Avalanche Excavating that a 12-inch pipe ran full tilt from about 3:30 a.m. till about 4:15 a.m. directly north of our property. So it flooded the yard and the crawl space, and for a month we've had no way to heat or cool the house. We've not had hot water. The sprinkling system was flooded. debris is covering the sprinkler heads. We have done water mitigation and so forth, because most importantly, the foundation is compromised. And we have had a structural engineer in there, and we also have, as of Saturday, a report from Straight Line on the work that we'll need done for that. A week after this happened, Avalanche Excavating, one of the contractors, filed a claim with their insurance company. And so we do know that's in process, because we've had countless hours of calls, emails, texts, as you can imagine, anything and everything to sort of right the ship, as it were. And one of the days that we were coming and going, in fact, to the house to meet some of the contractors, the truck of the owner of Avalanche Excavating was parked in our driveway. So we wanted to mention that again. We have been in touch with Leo Evans with the city, and I got in touch with him that day and let him know that that truck needed to be moved immediately, and if it wasn't, I would be having it towed. So that's just to let you know some of the attitude toward the property, and it's just concerning to me. And I wasn't able to go to a water committee meeting that was held last week. Katrina went, and before the meeting started, one of the gentlemen in the audience had indicated he was wondering if there was any resolution to the situation on 9th Street. And I know he was referring to me, because he said that lady sure was fired up. And I wanted to let you know that, yes, we are fired up. Because if anyone in this room, anyone, whether it's someone on council or the citizens, if anyone in this room had tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage to their property caused by either the city or the contractors, I would think you'd be fired up too. And so I just wanted to let you know, as we have let Leo via email know, we will be filing a claim with the city. I know that'll go through the city's insurance, and Avalanche Excavating, as I said, they have filed a claim. And we are pursuing this. We want to make sure that we keep it on your radar screen, so we'll continue to either be present this way or being in touch with Leo Evans. And also, Mayor, I know when we were at the fundraiser at Christie's for the canines, you mentioned you might come by and see the property. You are welcome to do that. Anybody is, in fact. And you all have access to Mr. Evans, and you have our emails, phone numbers, and I just wanted to let you know we're going to keep this at the forefront, and I appreciate your time, because as I mentioned at the first meeting when we came and spoke on April 8th, which wasn't a city council meeting but a subcommittee meeting, our dad was on city council many years ago, and so I recognize the value and the time that each of you put in, especially newer members, to this process. I appreciate it, I value it very much, and I'm just going to continue to be the squeaky wheel, and we will continue to be fired up. Thank you. We're glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rochelle. Do you want to deal with it here? Go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for letting us know that Avalanche has filed, and that's great to hear that you've been in touch with our Director of Public Works, Evans. I think you mentioned at the beginning that you had a document request that was outstanding with the city?
Yes, I was wanting to get reports related to the flood, specifically how much, how many gallons were released, what the timing of the flood was, and I know it was Sunday into Monday, Monday morning, April 6th. And again, I just didn't know exactly what the process would be. I've
Sure.
requested it via email, but if I need to do something else, I'm glad to do that.
Thank you. Is that something that needs to be submitted via Cora, or is that something that staff can provide?
Yeah, it should be done through Cora, and we have her contact information. Cindy will get in touch with you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
We
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Rochelle.
Thank you.
Mike Sturka. Mike Sturka. You're passing? Is this for the later? Yes. Okay, very good. Okay, with that, we have a number of resolutions tonight, and these are rather lengthy, and I'm not going to read through all of these. What I am going to do is focus on the now be it proclaimed part of it. And what we're going to do is each one of these requires a photograph. We're not going to have the council members go down and up and down and up and down and up. So I'd like to get through each one of them, and then we'll have you come up in sequence to take a photograph, if that works, and that'll be more efficient. And I apologize for not reading all these, but it would take me probably 20 minutes to read through all of those, and I think you probably don't want to do that. But with that, Cri Du Cha Awareness, I think Mr. Masson is here, and you do have a small presentation that you'd like to make, and if anyone else wants to speak as we go through these, you're welcome to do that, so we'll work our way through it. But sir, you contacted me in January as soon as I took office. I'm not even certain you didn't contact me prior to that, and so we've been waiting for quite some time for May 4th to arrive, and it has arrived, and I think your daughter has been dealing with this particular disease, and so we're happy to have you here, and the floor is yours.
All right, my name is Billy Masson. I am an ambassador for the Phi Pi Minus Society. They are located out of Lakewood, California. About 40 to 50 kids a year are diagnosed with this. It is very, very rare. We are a family support group for individuals with Cri Du Cha. We've got 10 to thousands of members in our database from America, Australia, New Zealand. I actually met a girl in 2014 from New Zealand that was at our annual conference in San Antonio. We're parents, grandparents, extended family, professionals, teachers. They were founded in 1986 by a group of parents. We're actually celebrating our Ruby anniversary this year. We are a 501c3 non-for-profit organization. Here are some pictures of annual conference. Our mission statement are to encourage and facilitate communications among families, to spread awareness and education for the syndrome to those families and their service providers. Phi Pi is a rare chromosome disorder. Here it says 1 in 50,000. That was back in 2009 when my daughter was born, but now it's 1 in 35,000. So it has totally increased since then. The syndrome is also known as Cri Du Cha syndrome or cry of the cat. It was first identified by Dr. Jerome Lejeune in 1963. And I just also found out that Dr. Lejeune is also who discovered Down syndrome. This is our executive director's daughter. As you can see some of the characteristics there. This is actually the chromosome. Cri Du Cha is actually they're missing part of the short arm of the 5th chromosome. That my daughter there in 2010, I believe. Characteristics is they have a cat-like cry. They can actually also have widespread eyes, extra photo skin. They have flattened and widened nasal bridge. They have small head circumference. They have many, many developmental delays, way too many to actually sit and read every one. They are gross and fine motor skills. A lot of the kids actually have to have physical therapy, speech therapy, developmental therapy, all of the therapies you could think of. Usually just about every kid that I know that has it has to have some type of therapy. A lot of the kids communicate by sign language. That's pretty much how my daughter started out with sign language, but now she's talkative and can't shut up. They do have very poor muscle tone. They are slow growth up until, I believe, 5. She was maybe 35, 50 pounds, soaking wet, very small. Of course, they do have a lot of constipation. Low birth weight. She was, actually, when she was born, she had normal birth weight, but, I mean, getting her to gain the weight. They do have a normal life expectancy. A lot of the more severe cases, those are more severe. A lot of our babies that are born, I couldn't tell you how many babies that we've lost through the society within the last several years. Most children do walk, but they are delayed on their walking. A lot of the children do not achieve toilet training. They do have a lot of autism-like tendencies. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's autism. No, it's like autism, but it's not. A lot of the children do have seizures ranging from grand mal to silent. When they're born, a lot of the geneticists were like, oh, they'll live, you're lucky if they'll live till 1. My daughter just turned 17 in March. These are some pictures from like different conferences that are held. They do have a lot of behavior issues. The biting and hair pulling, I can tell you, that is, a lot of them do that. My daughter was very bad. They, as you see here, they do have the autism-like characteristics. Some are actually diagnosed with the Cri Du Cha and autism together. We have several outreach programs. We have our website, 5p-org. I mean, I'm not asking, but if anybody would like to donate, they can actually go to the website here, 5p-org, and click on donations. We have several social media pages. As you see, we have the Ambassador program, which is what I am part of. This was our previous list of our conferences. This year, the conference is being held in San Antonio again, and next year, in 2027, it will be in Louisville, Kentucky. How we are funded, we private donations, a lot of fundraising events. We do a lot of popcorn sales, just different raffles, bingo nights, trivia nights. We have a grandparents fund, membership dues. This is our contact information in Lakewood, California. So the 5p- is celebrating 50 years of support for families worldwide. May 5th, which is tomorrow, is designated as Cri Du Cha Awareness Day. Some of the Awareness Month campaign events, we do Stripey Sock campaign. We have one raised up, one short to represent that deletion of the 5th chromosome. We have a virtual 5K. We have Where in the World is 5P, which I believe every one of the city council members has a picture of C5. So when we get the picture with the proclamation, if you guys could hold that up in the picture so I can send it to our executive director. So each year, about 50 to 60 children are born worldwide with 5p- syndrome. While the challenges vary, the need for understanding and support is universal. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you, and let me read that proclamation, at least the portion of it. Whereas children born with this rare genetic defect will most likely require ongoing support from a team of parents, therapists, and medical and educational professionals to help the child achieve his or her maximum potential. Whereas there are many families with family members with Cri Du Cha, I'll get that right, living in Colorado with the syndrome that are members of 5P Society and over 1,000 families in the country. Now therefore let it be proclaimed by Canyon City Mayor Phil Lund that May is designated as Cri Du Cha Awareness Month and May 5th, 2026, Cri Du Cha Awareness Day. And we've got the proclamation, and as I mentioned, council members, and he mentioned when we get the photograph, if you could bring that down and hold it up, and we're gonna go on to the next one, and then we're gonna do all the photographs at once, if we can do that. Police Chief, I need you to come up with the student spotlight, if you could. I went past that one, and we're back up for that, so. And we'll make sure that each one of these will have people stand and get recognized before we do the photograph, and this is the time for that. So thank you, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, we want to recognize 4 of our high school wrestlers and graduating seniors who achieved an extraordinary milestone this season, each earning state championship titles in their respective weight divisions. If I could get Ben Reich to stand up, Ben. Piper Montoya, Eli Kuntz, and Kate Dowdy. These are our wrestlers that won the title. We're going to do pictures afterwards?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted you guys to be recognized. Go ahead and sit down. Their accomplishments reflect far more than athletic talent. They demonstrate discipline, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. It's worth highlighting their respective records, which are indeed all very impressive. Mr. Reich had wrestled in the heavyweight division. He had 45 wins and 3 losses. Piper Montoya wrestled in the 110-pound class and had 36 wins and 2 losses. Eli Kuntz competed in the 190-pound class, and he had 41 wins and 1 loss. And Kate Dowdy competed in the 135-pound class and had a record of, wait for it, 23 wins and no losses. These student athletes have represented themselves, their school, and our community with integrity and pride. Their achievements stand as a powerful reminder of what young people can accomplish when hard work meets opportunity. We at CCPD, on behalf of City Council, are proud to recognize them this month in Student Spotlight for their remarkable success and the example that they set for all their peers. Their dedication on the mat is matched only by their promise off the mats. We look forward to watching them continue and excel as students, leaders, and future citizens of our community. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. And folks, you'll be number 1 as far as the photographs, so be aware of that. When we start that process, come on up. And the next one is Educators Appreciation Week. And again, this is a long proclamation, but I'm going to read the now therefore as. I've got the last 2 sentences. Wherefore, we recognize the education is the foundation upon which a brighter, more equitable future is built, and whereas the Fremont RE1 School District employees, amazing educators who do an excellent job each and every day. Now, therefore, I, Phil Lund, Mayor of Canyon City, on behalf of the City Council and the residents of this community, do proclaim May as Educator Appreciation Month in recognition of the tireless dedication, passion, and commitment that educators display every day in shaping the minds and hearts of future generations, encouraging all citizens to celebrate and show gratitude to the educators who inspire, support, and guide our students, fostering an environment of growth, learning, and opportunity for all. And if all the educators would stand at this point, and if there's someone who wants to speak, you're welcome to, but please stand so you can be recognized. Adam, do you want to say a few words? Superintendent of Schools?
Thank you, Mayor, and I will keep it brief. And it's nice now because I actually get to turn and see everyone who's here from the school district, and the school board, so thank you so much. I certainly appreciate the combined efforts of the Board of Education with the council to acknowledge all the hardworking folks. And I just want to say, we use the word educator, but the way that we regard the employee group of Canyon City Schools, we use the term people. Whether folks be classified, certified, teacher, paraprofessional, bus driver, nutrition worker, so on, so forth, coach. You just mentioned what we just saw with these talented wrestlers who have been celebrated. It takes all of us, and to be acknowledged by the city means a great deal. So, Mayor, Council, thank you so much on behalf of Canyon City Schools. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. And you folks will be number 3 on the photograph list, if you will. If everyone could remember their number, that's going to be helpful. Next is Municipal Clerks Week, and we have one municipal clerk with us tonight, so that's great. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, and whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk, now therefore I, Phil Lund, Mayor of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as Municipal Clerks Week in the City of Canyon City, Colorado. And would our clerk like to say a few words, or? Okay. We'll get your picture. And number 4.
Thank you, Cindy.
So you're number 4. And you're the photographer, so that's going to be tricky.
Chief can take it.
Okay, next is Correction Officer Week. And whereas correctional officers, and is anyone wanting to speak on that one? Anybody? Okay, we'll just recognize you. Whereas correctional officers and employees are resourceful, capable, committed, patient, and persistent criminal justice professionals, and whereas correctional officers and employees deserve to be recognized for their service and should be commended by community leaders for the tremendous job they do and the exceptional performance of duties under the most difficult of circumstances. And now, therefore, I, Phil Lund, Mayor of Canyon City, on behalf of the City Council and the residents of this community, do hereby proclaim May 4th through the 10th, 2026 as Correctional Officers and Employees Week in the City of Canyon City, Colorado, and urge all residents of Canyon City to honor our correctional officers and employees, not just this week, but every day of the year. And if there's correctional officers here, if you could stand, please. Seeing none. Hopefully they're on the list and can watch. The next one is National Police Week. And Chief, are you wanting to say anything about that, or? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I just want to thank you for taking the opportunity to recognize National Police Week for us. It is a solemn remembrance, but it is absolutely remarkable in the same stride. We lose on average about 200 officers a year in the line of duty, and every single one of them is a heavy burden on the hearts of cops all across our nation. We stand with those families. We stand with every one of those officers across the nation, and we pray every single night that each and every one of them gets an opportunity to go home. And I am thankful for the support of this council. I'm thankful for the ongoing and continued support of this community. It means the world to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And if you're not on the, and we'll clap. Go ahead. If you're not on the Canyon City Facebook page, I would recommend that you do that. And we lost a couple more officers this week, I believe. Every time somebody doesn't come home at night. They put that up there, and they continue to watch, is how Canyon City has it. I'm going to take the liberty of reading the whole proclamation because I think it is very important that there are people who are committing their lives on the line for us all the time. And this has got a long history in this county, or excuse me, this country, so I will read through this. So, May 11th through the 17th, 2026. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in the communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Canyon City Police Department. And whereas the United States annually observes and pays tribute to the local, state, and federal police officers who have sacrificed their lives and who have been disabled in the line of duty. And whereas this was established by a joint resolution 676 of Congress in 1962, which authorized President John F. Kennedy to proclaim May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week of each year during which such May 15th occurs as National Police Week. And whereas the police officers of America have worked devotedly and selflessly on behalf of the people of this nation, regardless of the peril or hazard that duty presents to themselves, and whereas these men and women, by their patriotic service and their dedicated efforts, have earned the gratitude of the people, and whereas the City of Canyon City has talented, hardworking, ethical, compassionate, empathetic, and professional police officers, now therefore I, Phil Lund, Mayor of Canyon City, on behalf of the City Council and the residents of this community, do hereby recognize May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and May 11th through the 17th, 2026 as National Police Week, to thank the law enforcement officers in our community as well as the communities across the nation for their service. And we thank you, Chief, and the other officers that are back there. And we'll bring you up for a photograph in just a minute. Okay, Dorothy Day with Echo and Family Center, if you would come forward. And are you going to be talking at all? Are you here? Okay, do you want to speak? Okay, very good. Come on up and speak, and then I'll read the proclamation. This is for the Provider Appreciation Day, which is May 8th. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Gould, and I am a co-owner of Rocky Mountain Children's Discovery Center, but most importantly, I am a member of the Community for All Early Childhood Programs. And this is a special recognition for all of our hard work in this community. We collaborate together to make sure that all children have a safe and healthy environment, that it has quality care, and our employees are really hardworking. And early childhood is in a crisis, as we all know, and it's hard to get people to work in our field with the low wages that we receive across the board, across the United States. So we work hard, and we just want to celebrate our young professionals in early childhood. Well, not all of us are young, but anyway. So thank you, Mayor and Council, for proclaiming Early Childhood Professional Week.
Certainly, and we're going to get a picture with you, but let me read a couple sentences of this, if I might. Whereas Canyon City recognizes that child care has been and continues to be a lifeline for families, communities, and the economy, and whereas support for affordable, accessible, high-quality child care represents a worthy commitment to help families work, support children's healthy development and learning, and keep our economy growing. Now, therefore, I, Phil Lund, Mayor of Canyon City, on behalf of the City Council and the residents of this community, do hereby proclaim May 8th, 2026 as Provider Appreciation Day in the City of Canyon City, and urge all citizens to recognize child care providers for their important work and how valuable they are to our community. And we can give them a hand as well. And last but not least is Public Service Recognition Week. And is there anyone who wants to speak on the behalf of that?
Yeah, we're going to have Butch Batchelder, the city's HR director, come up. I'm going to say a few words as he's coming up. Every year we recognize Public Service Appreciation Week, and that, just taking that moment to recognize the employees that work locally in the city, the county, the school district, fire district, sanitation district, our Department of Corrections, who all have their own appreciations going on this week as well, and all others that serve, have taken their careers to serve this community and the communities that they're in. Oftentimes, it is people take for granted how much work goes on behind the scenes. When you turn on your faucet, you expect the water to be there. When it's snowing outside, you expect the roads to be plowed. And it's our public service members who make sure that that happens, automatically almost. That's the way, the perception to the public. But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make that happen, and I want to say thank you to all of our employees and the employees of all those other agencies that spend so much time and care serving their communities. Butch?
Ditto.
Okay.
No, Ryan's right. I mean, we recognize our employees who are reaching milestones in service to the city during the second meeting of every month, but this is our opportunity to recognize all of our employees. Our employees we have at the treatment plant that operates 24/7, 365 days a year to make sure that all of us, when we turn on the water spout, have clean, safe water coming out. And all of our park staff who ensure that the city has beautiful parks for families to enjoy on picnics and sports and games and things like that. So I think we tend to forget about those things because they're just there, and they're always there, and they always look nice, and we always have it when we need it. But I can tell you, when we don't need it, it becomes very paramount and obvious. So the next time you see one of our city workers out in the parks or filling a hole in the street or something like that, please stop and say thank you.
Okay, let me read the resolution. Public servant, service workers, who is here that could stand? We'll give you a hand. So, Leo's there. And that includes Ryan, and it includes Cindy and others up here as well. So here's the resolution, or the proclamation. Whereas public servers include administration, building, economic development, finance, human resources, IT, library, municipal court, museums, planning, police, and public works, along with countless other municipal operations. Day in and day out, they provide the diverse services demanded by the American people of their government with efficiency and integrity. And whereas without the public servants at every level, continuity would be impossible in a democracy that regularly charges its leaders and elected officials. And whereas the City of Canyon City recognizes the hard work of all public servants who embody the spirit of service and endless possibilities that define America. Now therefore, I, Phil Lund, Mayor of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, do hereby proclaim May 4th through the 8th, 2026 as Public Service Recognition Week in the City of Canyon City, Colorado. And again, thank you. And that includes Brendan Beck in the booth and others as well. So wrestlers, you're first, and I'm going to call out each one as far as taking a photograph so we can have the council members go on down. And we've got a list of people we need to go through for photographs, and we thank all of you. Make sure you have this with you. I'll use that. All the rest of them are down. You're going to come right up there with the class and stand up there. Congratulations. Awesome. Okay, let's line up for a photograph. We've got to keep this thing rolling. You guys going to be in front? There's a few things I'm in charge of.
Okay, you guys are gonna have to move on where I can see you, because there's some tall people. A lot of short fellas. Okay, I think we got it. Mr. Denny?
All smiles.
Okay, ready? Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Sister Whoever you want to hold that. Provider Appreciation Day. Provider Appreciation Day. Provider Appreciation Day. What about Clark?
Yeah, you got one now.
Okay, are we ready?
Three shots, one of them gotta be good.
Educators, we got a whole bunch of here. Come on up.
Yes, ma'am, Bill.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's good.
Let's set it up by height if we can, a little bit.
Scoot in just a smidgen more if you can, because there's a lot of you. Okay, ready?
That's it for photographs.
Goodness.
You know what, I've got one more. Sorry, but there's public service recognition.
Oh.
We're gonna do this. I apologize, we have one more that I didn't catch, it was on my desk, and it's Public Service Recognition Week, so. Leo. Patrick.
Catherine never gets up here. This is one she did it.
Oh, I was supposed to do a proclamation. Brandon.
Thank you for your public service. Thank you.
We got her out of here. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Leo.
Thanks for being such a great public servant.
Stand in between these two. Sufficiently hidden behind.
You're not holding up. Do you want to try? Is that okay? Legally? Oh, I was gonna leave.
Are we all back up here? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. Next is council member announcements and board updates. And so we have the committee updates, economic development, finance, budget, and public works. I think Councilmember Tony is available on that one, and public safety, Amy is sitting next to me. So economic development, we have our meetings on the same day as the council. And today, the primary issue was a couple of ordinances that the committee moved forward and will be coming for the council in the next meeting. One dealing with soil testing, another one, I guess we need to deal with that one a little longer for the focus on the historic downtown. There's a couple of things that needed to change with that. But lastly, the staff, through Rick Harmon, who is the Economic Development Manager, gave a presentation about the whole ecosystem that is for Canyon City as far as dealing with economic development. And Diane was from Fremont Economic Development Corporation was there, and we had a really good presentation looking at, for the Economic Development Committee, what is the ecosystem, and it included local, it included state, and other designations. We'll be meeting in another month and talking about what are the stress points and where we can make a difference. But there's a lot of good things that are happening, and I want to just stress that from all kinds of things, whether it's FEDC or the city government itself, and even the state, and what's happening over in Florence with who we consider our partners with the emergent campus. So we need to be encouraged about some good things that are happening in our area. And one of the things we're after is a pro-business, pro-citizen focus in city government and moving that forward. And there was a lot of good suggestions on how to, on one particular presentation today, on how to make things more efficient, specifically not for the government, but for citizens and who are wanting to do some things. So that's my take, and if anybody else from that committee wants to speak, they're welcome to. Kathy? Okay, very good. Okay, excellent. Next, Fred, are you there in California?
Yes, I am. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm not in Canyon City. But,
Welcome.
First of all, I'd like to thank all our proclamation recipients for tonight. You make this city great. Thank you very much. An update on the Finance Budget Public Works Committee. We'll have a meeting this Thursday, the 7th, at 3:45. And we'll have a great update from Leo Evans, our Director of Public Works, including a capital project program. Also, that'll include our update on the paid parking. We'll get a status update on that as well. Other than that, invite everybody to come Thursday night, Thursday at 3:45. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Amy, for public safety and quality of life.
Thank you. Just a couple updates from us. The Public Safety Quality of Life Committee did bring together, it wasn't an official committee meeting, but we did bring together the Homelessness Coalition and Homelessness Solutions Working Group to start talking about homelessness issues, challenges, facts, stats, misconceptions, how much definitions can matter, as well as the potential for new signage around homelessness donations, giving to organizations rather than to individuals. So we'll be continuing to work on that effort in the coming week. Later this month, Chief Schick and the police department are launching the first come together, for lack of a better word, of the Certified Crime Response Program. Just as a reminder to council, this initiative is to establish a collaborative multidisciplinary coalition dedicated to enhancing community safety, preventing crime, and improving quality of life. So we're really excited that the council approved that and that we are moving forward apace. Invite everyone in the community to come down to the former Parks building, which is part of Centennial Park, this Thursday, May 7th, between 4:30 to 7:30. We'll be having the third and final open house related to that area of Centennial Park, as well as the former Black Hills property, current or future Western Gateway property. So essentially, after the second open house, they took everyone's input and ideas, both online, through surveys that went out to all of the high schoolers and middle schoolers, as well as everybody who came to the first and second open house. And they've now kind of synthesized that into a final presentation and are really excited about getting public input on that vision. Great idea, I forget what city staff member it was. I'm sure Patrick could tell us. But we'll actually be having it in what used to be the Parks Department building, because that's kind of the centerpiece of the effort to revitalize that one last corner of Centennial Park. So hopefully at some point taking down that barbed wire and opening that building up for more of an adventure hub, youth education around outdoor recreation. So really exciting. Again, May 7th. 4:30 to 7:30 down at Centennial Park. And then lastly, we are changing the date and time of our Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee meetings. We had been doing them on the Wednesday following the first Monday, and unfortunately we have a hard stop every single month at 4:59 p.m. because we have another meeting in here at 5. So just a heads up to any members of the public that like to watch those later online or perhaps attend in person. We are working to identify a new date and time that work well for the committee members, and that also enables us to have a little bit more dialogue and discussion as part of those monthly meetings. Thanks.
Thank you, Amy. Any other council members would like to speak about any topic they want to address? Yes.
Thank you for the Blossom Festival this weekend. For everybody that put all the effort into putting things together, thank you very much. I know they don't always get all the appreciation that they deserve. They do a lot of that privately, and it's not part of the city. I know a lot of people think it's part of the city, but those people deserve a lot of appreciation for everything they do, putting together Blossom every year. I know for me, I think of it as the kickoff to summer. So for me, summer started thanks to Blossom.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's well said. Anyone else? Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. City Administrator, you are online.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Item 9A is the approval of the minutes for the regular city council meeting on April 20th, the special city council meeting on April 21st. 9B is to award bid 60-26, a project grant management of reservoir feasibility study to River Science in an amount not to exceed $52,100. 9C is to receive and file cash disbursements, and 9D is to receive and ratify cash disbursements.
Okay, and I wouldn't mind if you would explanation with B, which is dealing with River Science. I happen to have served on the River Science board in the past, and they just do some very good things, and I think this is specifically dealing with what's going on at John Griffin.
Yeah, this is for the John Griffin Reservoir project. We have some grant funds to look at the feasibility of turning that into a reservoir. It's a project in conjunction with the Recreation and Park District, and Sanitation District has some land in there, so it's a big collaborative community effort, both for recreation, for wetlands, but even more importantly, I think for some storage for city water somewhere in the future. And we're partnering with, in this case, Luke Javernick with River Science, who's been involved in this project since the beginning, and actually had, he was one of the driving forces at the very beginning, bringing this idea forward. So I think it's a very good opportunity to support one of our local businesses through this feasibility study.
And I have nothing but the highest regard for Luke Javernick and his skills, and he has a PhD dealing with river science issues and goes all over the state dealing with various projects, and we're pleased that one of our own is involved with this on the project management side, at least I am. Any other questions from council members for the consent agenda for the city administrator? Hearing none, does anyone have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Yes.
Thank you. I move that we approve the consent agenda, moving 7B to 7A and 7A to C2. and the agenda as written.
Is there support?
I second.
Okay, moved by Amy Schmischer and seconded by Gerald Maloney. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye, or excuse me, you vote. I'm still in the old school. Go ahead and vote, members.
Councilmember Tony, your vote?
Aye.
Okay, the clerk will announce once they're all done.
Unanimously passed.
Okay, very good. Administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We've talked about Public Service Appreciation Week. Council member or Mayor Pro Tem Schmischer mentioned Western Gateway open house. I do have that from 4:30 to 6:30 though, not 7:30. Patrick, is that correct? It goes until 6:30? The open house on Thursday? It does go to 7:30. My apologies. Let's see. We also will be having a discussion on the drought and drought response plan. That is scheduled for 5:30 Tuesday the 12th at Skyline Theater. So we will, we've put out some information about the current drought standards, where we are in the drought education process, and we'll be hosting a open house or a Q&A there at Skyline Theater so people can come and ask questions about where we are, and hopefully we get some good moisture this week and we're in a better situation next week than we are today.
I want to highlight that. I met with Travis Payne, who is on the city administrator over there, and they're doing a fabulous job. I want to just really acknowledge how well they're doing, and we all know that we haven't had a lot of snowfall up in the mountains. Hopefully, again, as the city administrator talked about in the next couple days, but we really have a good team of people who are working on this, and I would encourage every citizen who's here, but certainly listening online, that you show up on May 12th at the theater, and we have staff prepared to talk about what the challenges are, and maybe we'll get past this as far as there. But City Administrator, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you doing that, and I just want to highlight that for the citizens on this important issue.
Yeah, thank you. We've got a great team working on it. A couple other highlights. I mentioned in my report the negotiations with the Royal Gorge Bridge contract. We received the draft contract back from the vendor today, so we'll be reviewing that and getting together to discuss that and provide any additional changes. As part of that contract, and as the current contract expires, one of the things that we're looking at is having a engineering firm come in and take a look and do a 20-year capital plan, looking at what needs to be improved or what areas might need some additional work to extend their life cycle. As part of that, we have reached out to a engineering group, Benish, who has done some of those inspections in the past for the bridge company. They're very well versed in the bridge and have information about it, so they won't be starting from scratch if we use them. What we're looking at is bringing a proposal before City Council next week, or I'm sorry, at the next meeting. However, this will not go through our normal procurement process with multiple bids, as we think that they are probably best suited to provide the service that we need, given their history with the bridge. I wanted to make sure that there weren't any concerns from City Council with us not getting 3 full quotes for this work. And we're talking about $80,000. And
any concerns from any council members?
The one, sorry,
go ahead.
Mayor.
Sure.
The one thing that we're concerned about is meeting the deadline. So
right, exactly.
The contractor would like us to have that report in hand in June. This contractor, this engineering firm, believes that they can have us the report by the end of June, so June 30th.
Okay. Any concerns? Hearing none? Yes, go ahead on that issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to, and thank you for clarifying that they did confirm that they could have it in hand by the requested timeline of June. I understand that they have done this type of assessment in the past for the bridge company. Have we ever contracted with them directly? Do we know the quality of their work? Are we in any way concerned?
Yeah, Benish is on our short list. So when we went out and looked for engineering firms that we wanted to contract with, especially with some of the federal grant funds, we went and created a short list of engineering firms, and Benish is one of the approved vendors on that short list. Is that correct, Leo? Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Good. What about radar?
Oh, yep. We've got two things that were not on the report. I sent an email to City Council last week about Radar, one of our canines. He's been diagnosed with a spinal condition that is going to not allow him to continue his work as a police canine. And what we're looking at doing is retiring Radar and partnering with a nonprofit in Texas that works with canine dogs to retrain them and rehome them to get them into a forever home. What I'm asking for City Council tonight is I would like to go ahead and administratively do that. We will bring that to be ratified to City Council at the next City Council meeting, but want to make sure that you're all okay with that before I do it.
Okay. All good.
Okay.
You had one more other issue? That was good.
I do, and that not an issue. I just want to piggyback on Councilmember Reeves regarding the Blossom Festival. I've had so many people today come to me and tell me what a great event it was over the weekend, and business owners saying that how busy they were, and I just want to say thank you again to the Blossom Committee and all the hard work that they do putting on this event every year, and just thank you.
I think we all support that one, so thank you. Okay, next up is public hearing, and I'm going to introduce that, and then I'll open the public hearing. So this is introduction and first reading by title only of Ordinance 7, Series 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City, amending Table 17.03.040 and Section 17.05.120 of the Canyon City Municipal Code concerning sales of motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles, snowmobiles, and personal watercraft in the Central Business District. And with that, I consider the hearing as open. So the city planner is here, and city planner, if you got some statements you would like to make about this, that would be great. And then what we're going to do is invite city council to ask any questions they have, and then I'll invite the public to speak. And then we'll close the public hearing. So that's the plan for going through this process. And with that, Patrick, our city planner.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This evening we are here to consider a proposed ordinance that would amend the Unified Development Code, or UDC, in such a way that it would make it possible for sales of motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and snowmobiles, also commonly referred to as power sports equipment, to be sold in the CB Central Business District downtown. Now, the Central Business District Commercial Zone was created decades ago as a kind of specialized commercial zoning where automobile-oriented uses are discouraged. This stems from an acknowledgement that Main Street between 1st and 9th has historically always been considered downtown Canyon City. This is summarized in the intent statement for the CB Zone District as expressed in Section 1702.030A2 of the UDC. CB District is intended to foster the continued economic vitality of Canyon City's historic downtown and to provide and preserve a central setting for pedestrian-oriented mixed-use developments as well as cultural amenities. Given the terms pedestrian-oriented mixed use, over time, it was understood that vehicle-related uses were considered inconsistent and incompatible with the aims of the district. Canyon City's downtown district has operated this way for decades. Local businessman Greg Dorito has petitioned the city to amend the CB Zone District to allow for the sales of motorcycles, ATVs, and snowmobiles and personal watercraft as a use type within this district. Note that if the requested amendment is granted, it would affect the entirety of the CB Central Business District commercial zone, not merely one vacant storefront along Main Street. So this amendment must be considered carefully. Now, I'm going to summarize 2 slides that I removed from the presentation that originally went to Planning Commission, and then I will explain why I did that. After the analysis of this petition against specific recommendations from the city's comprehensive plan, citing investments the city has made to expand the sidewalks along Main Street and make them more pedestrian-friendly, and responding to the materials submitted by the petitioner as rooted in economic terms rather than responding to the specific criteria for considering text changes to the UDC, as defined in Section 17-10-040C, staff recommended that Planning Commission deny the request. Planning Commission, after a lengthy public hearing on the matter, disagreed with staff and decided that they wanted to choose to modify the draft ordinance in such a way that it could be made permissible as a special review use. As I said, this would be a different category of use, whereas in the general commercial, sales of motorcycles, personal watercraft, etc., is considered a permitted use. There is no process you have to go through unless it's a site plan for a vacant piece of ground. Additionally, they sought to amend Section 1705-120, this is vehicle-related use-specific standards, should be amended to include a new paragraph B dealing with specific standards applied to the sales of power sports equipment in the CB Central Business Zone District. Number 1, vehicles shall be stored within an enclosed building. Number 2, vehicles stored inside the building shall not contain fuel. Number 3, outdoor display of vehicles or related equipment shall be prohibited. Number 4, test drives shall not occur on Main Street. Number 5, servicing or repairs of vehicles shall be prohibited. Number 6, deliveries shall occur from the alley to the maximum extent possible. And in this case, deliveries is interpreted to mean a customer taking delivery of something that they purchased at the store. And finally, the SRU approval shall be reviewed every 3 years and may be revoked for cause. Now with that, the Planning Commission, on a vote of 5-1, voted that this amended version of the ordinance be forwarded to council with a recommendation for council approval. If approved this evening, this ordinance will return to council for a second reading on May 18th, 2026. That concludes the staff presentation. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions that council may have. I know our petitioner, Greg Dorito, is in the audience this evening, and I'm sure he would like to say a few words as well.
Okay, before we go to that part of it, Catherine, could you make a distinction between what this council is dealing with as far as the ordinance issue and how we typically would deal with something that puts us in a quasi-judicial role? So we have that completely clear.
Sure. So this is a legislative decision that council is making. It's not making a decision on an application, although you do have a citizen who has petitioned for this change in this case, which the code allows. So this is something that is much broader. Your authority is much broader. Patrick went over the criteria that does apply to text amendments in the code, and so you still do have some criteria that you evaluate under, but it is not the strict quasi-judicial process. Does that help?
Yep, it helps a lot. Thank you. Is there any questions from the city council for Patrick? And then after that, I'm going to invite others to speak. So Amy, I see that hand. And I see it on here too. Then Jeremy, you're next.
Thank you. My questions are actually, I think, more for Catherine than Patrick. I guess threefold, and they're questions regarding the text itself. Let's see, the new Section 2B6, maximum extent permissible, should that be possible?
Sorry, I don't know where you are.
Oh,
sorry.
So in the ordinance.
In the one that was revised from Planning
Yes.
Commission? Okay, sorry.
No, not at all. In the ordinance, Section 17-05-120, and then there's a new B that's been added in from Planning Commission, and then number 6.
I'm with you now.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry.
No, not at all.
Maybe is the answer to the question. I think it's going to be up to council. I think possible is probably the better word there than permissible, but I'm not sure exactly what the conversation was at Planning Commission, so Patrick may have more insight on that than I do.
So these 7 items were taken from the YouTube video of the Planning Commission meeting, we wanted to make sure we got the
Sure.
language verbatim. It may well be that the word permissible might not be the best in context, but we were trying to be faithful to what the Planning Commission had actually created as a motion.
Okay. Then I may just have a suggested edit. I always know permissible in terms of like legally allowable or allowable by rules, as opposed to, I think what the conversation is, vehicles, largely, we would love to see them delivered through the alley when it is possible,
But
rather
if it's too
than-
narrow or they
Yeah.
can't make the turn.
Exactly. Or if they're too heavy to use the lift. My two other questions were on 7 of the same section, may be revoked for cause. Do we define what cause means, or is?
I do believe there is a revocation section in your code now for permits. So we can find that for you and get that answer. I don't know what it
Okay.
is off the top of my
I think
head.
that would be helpful and helpful to understand, like, in the context of this, if we're saying that it can be revoked at any time for cause, like, what would that actually look like?
We created this revocation clause last year with Omnibus 5. So it is in there, yes.
Thank you. I think just understanding it in this context would be great. And then my last, I guess, I don't know if it's a question, maybe it is, also on number 6. Typically, I see deliveries to and from stores on Main Street all the time. And hearing you say deliveries of the vehicles, I think makes a lot of sense, because that goes directly towards the end of the line, right? We aren't trying to set up a separate standard whereby this type of store, all of their deliveries would have to go in the back. We're really talking about the vehicles.
We're talking about giving, transferring ownership and a customer taking delivery of a motorcycle.
Okay, so maybe just the deliveries of vehicles shall occur from the alley to the maximum extent possible. Would just make sure that we're being consistent across the board, if I'm understanding what the code says correctly about the others. Great, thanks.
Jeremy, go ahead.
2 questions. Number 1, what was the dissenting voice on the committee? What was that reasoning?
Commissioner Souther objected to making modifications to the CB zone on what he called this particular scale. He didn't feel it was appropriate.
And then a second question to Dorito, is it, from what I understand, it's only sales, no repairs, no nothing like that out of the shop, it's just sales only, correct?
Catherine?
Thank you.
And I don't mean to challenge you on that one, but this is for, I'm challenging just as far as how the council is addressing this, because this is not specific to Greg Dorito's property. This is something dealing with the Central Business District. And so if we're asking specifically what Greg's intention is, I think he's got a future application that would need to come under the SRU. Am I understanding that correctly? Because we're dealing with an ordinance that is dealing with all of the Central Business District as opposed to one particular owner.
Sure. That it is dealing with the entire, all the property within that zone district.
Right. Also, Catherine, what are the modifications that this council can make as opposed to completely accepting what the Planning Commission had sent to us? We have the freedom to make modifications if we so choose. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm looking at this, and, with the fuel aspect of it, that makes it tough on any business if this approves, because I'm going to tell you, I've been involved in personal watercraft, but I wouldn't have ever bought a personal watercraft without trying it first, and you got to put fuel in it, and, and if there's no fuel storage-wise, within that building or that, I mean, that's a lot of work to get it all out, draining the carburetor, absolutely making everything empty on that. And I just think that, a camping store, just for instance, if there was somebody down could have some Coleman fuel in there. But just, I think that puts a little, I think it makes it tough if this approves on that type of business, not to be allowed to have fuel within their system. Thanks.
Any other council members?
Mayor?
Go ahead, Mr. Tony.
No, thank you. Did we intentionally leave out UTVs when we defined the type of vehicles?
The code created a use type that included ATVs, all-terrain vehicles, and I think, and Catherine, you can correct me if I'm wrong, by extension, that includes UTVs as well? It does not? Okay.
No, not necessarily. So there is a different provision in the code, the UTV regulations under Title 10, under the Model Traffic Code section, that defines UTVs in relation to a state statute and actually exempts out ATVs, which are defined under a different state statute. So UTVs are your side-by-sides, kind of. That's obviously not the legal definition, but the side-by-sides, and ATVs are the ones you ride on top. So.
Okay. Fred, you got more questions?
Yes, I do. Should we put that in there? One question, and then one other question is was Tim's as well. I wanted to ask that, but then the 3-year trial, so to speak, is that what that is, a trial? Can you explain where the 3 years came from? I mean, a business starts up and they may be shut down in 3 years.
So what Planning Commission wanted was a mechanism where the use could be reviewed after a set period of time, and the city could ascertain, have we received a number of complaints about the operation of the store? Have we documented problem where this has created problems with foot traffic along Main Street? This was intended as a safety check to make sure that the use did not continue indefinitely without the city's ability to say, you're violating the terms of condition, or terms of approval, or conditions of approval from Chapter 1710. We've received a number of complaints about this. What are you going to do about this? So if the property owner doesn't give us satisfactory answers, at that point we can say, okay, we're going to hold a hearing and we're going to ask that your special review use be revoked.
Okay, can we not do that in the first year if that's being violated?
Well, we wanted to be fair. There can be teething pains for a business in the first year. We figured by year 3 it would be fairly well established.
Who does the hearing? Who's the decision maker on that?
I'm not aware that the code has a review process in it. Is that correct?
Well,
I mean, let me rephrase. I'm not aware of a review process in the code because none of the permits are reviewed. And so if you're going to move forward with a review process, we have to create that process. Who hears it? What's the criteria? How's it done? All of that. So that's like a whole different separate process because I don't think that it's appropriate to have a review of a permit and the person who received it doesn't know what standards they're up against or how it's going to work.
Agreed. We can modify that. How do we need to modify if we wanted to pull that out, give us direction on exactly how we would do that?
If you wanted to pull that
Provision out.
Yeah, so you can make any motion to modify this ordinance any way you can. So if you want to make a motion to, approve the ordinance with the exception of subsection 7 in there, that would be how you would do that.
I understand now.
Would you mind if I answered Councilmember Schmischer's questions about revocation? Sorry, I found that section.
Thank you. And I think that might help us with section 7 as well, because to Planner Mulready's point, like it sounded like if they don't follow the rules, then that's why you may want the 3-year review period. But presumably, if they aren't following the rules, then it could be revoked for cause. So yes, please.
Sure. So the criteria for review, so a revocation can occur with a finding of any of the following criteria. So the use of the building or site for which the permit was issued violates any of the approval criteria. The use, building, or site for which the permit was issued violates a condition of approval set forth in the permit or violates any provision of the UDC, or the use established is materially different from which was represented in the application and approved by a city council. And so city council makes that decision to revoke. There's a public hearing and notice provisions in there as well.
Okay.
Thank you. To that point, then I think we could potentially just say SRU approval may be revoked for cause, just amend the 7th bullet point, and then that removes the need to define a new process for reviewing every 3 years.
Okay. Any other council members? Greg, if you want to come up. And then anybody else on the public to do that. I'm sorry?
I just wanted to add quick on
Oh,
number.
I'm sorry, Dre, I didn't
That's
see you.
okay. On number 7, shouldn't it say unless brought back into compliance? Like there should be an opportunity to bring it back into
Absolutely.
compliance. Yeah.
Good call. Greg, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Members of council. Thank you guys for listening to me. Wow, normally my voice doesn't have to project that much. I petitioned this and I set this in motion a little while back. And the initial use was just for a request to change the acceptable use and to amend it so that it would allow it without condition or without SRU. I did that so that the momentum could keep going, so that the process didn't have to come to a break. In Planning Commission, they expressed some concerns. They expressed some apprehensions, and so in an adaptive maneuver, I acquiesced that it would be acceptable that there be putting some sort of conditions and things like that. This is a new use. And we're not talking specifically about my business. We're talking about a sweeping 1st to 9th change in the amendment. One of the first questions I would ask is, Patrick, do you have the actual date when that was changed to prohibit?
I would have to go back and review old codes. In the 8 years I have worked here, it has not been a permitted use in the CV zone.
That's correct. You just, in the public hearing at the planning, you had mentioned late 90s, early 2000s, and I was just curious if there was a more specific date or a more specific teeth on that, just for my own edification. Not necessarily.
There probably is. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that is, though.
Okay, I just didn't know if you had that. I've been down on Main Street as a business operator since 2001. I invested in a part of Main Street that was not a extremely well thought corner of Main Street. We moved forward, and I think we brought it to a natural, healthy progression. We expanded the business in a natural, healthy progression. We expanded to an outdoors. We expanded different various things that we adapted to the city of Canyon City, to Fremont County, to the needs of our citizens. Now, times have changed slightly. City Hall now sits down by us. There's been some growth in our area, not as much as we'd like, but still some growth. It is positive movement, and I think positive movement always has to be recognized. However, what I would like to address is the fact that it felt like there's a little bit of a boogeyman in the room about this, and I'm not talking about trying to change an ordinance that's going to change the definition of Main Street. I'm not trying to undermine the progress we've made with the sidewalks or the bump outs. I'm simply trying to broaden the diversity of the potential Main Street businesses. It was brought to my attention that I didn't have all of my citations at the planning and zoning, so I brought a few just to clarify. At one point, the Boulder Pearl Street Mall housed a Tesla dealership, which was later moved to Park Meadows Mall. Currently, Cherry Creek Mall in Denver, Colorado houses a Lucid electric car dealership. And I usually, I bring these up just to illustrate the potential that in the broadening economic environment we live in, I think everything hit fast forward and whirlwind when we went into the pandemic. People started shopping more online. Technology grew at an exponential rate. Some of the rules, some of the regulations of retail sales, what defines the pedestrian, what defines the retail environment, I think it became a little bit more jumbled. And I think that some of these things are somewhat experimental, but I think experimental always has the fruits of possibility of bringing new things that are exciting and growth potential. I'm not trying to do anything to undermine it. Reverting back from just the whole district only to my neighborhood, I specifically chose where I chose. It has the only potential to affect and impact me currently. If it's gone through with either conditions or SRU, then that gives you the council and it gives the planning commission some teeth to protect, as it were, other districts. But I do feel like it's important to point out, 1st to 9th is a cherished sanctity of downtown, but it has always historically had automotive businesses down there. It's just been a part of it. It's only been in the last 15 years that has changed. Downtown from 1st to 9th has planning and zoning, possible variations that are not what we'd ideally look for, but I think we can all agree that we have a pretty nice downtown. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what should be done or should not be done with these variations. That's not my job. My job is simply to ask you guys to broaden the spectrum of possibility for new businesses to grow down here. The possibility of new expansion, whether it be my shop or whether it be, you know, I use the example, if Tesla came in tomorrow and said they wanted to buy the furniture building to put in a dealership, I mean, would we be looking to try and figure out how to make that work, or would we be citing the zoning? I think that we can all agree that everything that is new, that is experience-based, presents an opportunity to downtown as a pedestrian mall. You know, power sports, as they're motion-driven. It's an experience-based thing. You know, maybe that's why the electric cars have niched so well in some of the pedestrian-oriented things like a walking mall. I can't say that that's the right fit for Canyon City as an overall, but I would ask the opportunity for Canyon City to look at least beta testing this to see if this is a good fit for growth.
Okay. Any questions for Greg? Amy?
Thanks. It's actually Tim and Fred's question, but do you, as somebody who and I'm not asking about your particular building, but rather about the business model in general, their question with regard to if it would be difficult to run a business, this type of business successfully if you cannot have fuel in the vehicles. Could you speak a little bit to that?
Well, if I don't know if it's possible to illustrate the 7 points that Patrick had requested, and maybe I could address them one by one, which ones I feel like are encumbering and which ones are not.
Sure, that would be really helpful, actually.
In regards to the fuel specifically, fuel is a tricky one because honestly, city can dictate that, but private enterprise can really over-dictate that. I could sit there and you could say I'm allowed to or I'm not allowed to, and my insurance company that holds the promissory note on the building may come in and say, I don't care what the regulation is. This will not go in here if it's a fire hazard. So that could supersede all of the negation of the discussion. The vehicles will be stored within an enclosed building. That makes perfect sense to me. I mean, they're small, they're high theft. I wouldn't really want them anywhere but within the enclosed building, with the exception of the opportunity to have a fenced area behind the building. So I think that perhaps if we could amend that to possibly say they will not be within the sidewalk right-of-way or displayed as it is on, I think it's the third one, excuse me.
And I want to interrupt you just for 1 second and make sure that we're talking about the whole of the central business district. I don't want you to focus on your own building.
Yeah,
right
no, I'm sorry. So, I was. It helps me metaphorically to look at those.
Yep.
Some of the buildings are unique that they do offer the potential of outdoor behind the building. So I would consider that would be something that we could evaluate. Having fuel in there, I think that it's best to pull the fuel out as best you can. But I do think I have a wary side of me that says, you know, if you can't get it all siphoned out properly, I would hate for there to be a rule that if somebody comes in there and they crack a gas cap and they smell it and they're like, oh, I think there's fuel in there, I would hate for that to be a stumbling block. I think it maybe to the best of your abilities is just a good item. The hard part is some of those bikes are, some of those UTVs are, some of those jet skis are heavy. So getting them in there, you know, push power sometimes can be a challenge, but we'll adapt to do the best we can in the region if it's altered. One of the questions I would have is the deliveries. I guess I would ask if we're going to look at that, changing that in the district, does that mean that we would be looking at going through all the food, liquor, service trucks, Amazon, UPS that stop in the middle of Main Street, 3rd Street? I mean, are we looking at, as a region, stopping those from doing and making sure that those are all delivering in alleyways as well? Because I think if we're going across the board and we're changing with broad sweeping strokes, that would make sense to me. If it's isolated just to this possible industry, I would say that that's the possibility of encumbering. Test drives on Main Street, I think that would be a difficult one in the sense of if it's not illegal to ride a motorcycle on Main Street, why would it be illegal to take delivery and ride away on it? My goal, my business model, I can't speak to yours as a whole, is not to allow test drives. I would discourage test drives from anybody that's going into power sports right now on a small scale. they're high maintenance, they're high risk, there's a high chance of theft and loss. But sometimes you got to be cautious encumbering with too many rules, because what you do is you chill the climate where it becomes just too invasive and people don't want to go out on the risk. They don't want to chance it. So, I guess I would say the deliveries would be one I would want to look at, unless as a whole we're making Pepsi Cola, we're making Noble Cisco Foods, Amazon, UPS. If we're making all of those as a sweeping stroke, we no longer want them doing any kind of deliveries on Main Street or side streets. Like that would be in accordance with that. The outdoor display, I would look at that and I would say that probably makes sense, because you don't want things people can stumble over. However, there are also patio cafe, there are feather flag, there are outdoor promotions of people's business. So I guess I would recommend looking at that in continuity, just to stay in step with all of the regulations that we already have on Main Street. I think that feather flags, if I remember right, you go and you do a petition and you pay a rental fee for 3 weeks or something like that to display a feather flag, a permitted use. Is that correct?
It's a 15-day permit period, and you
Okay.
can have 5 of those in a calendar year.
Okay, so maybe approaching something like that, just once again, continuity. I'm a big believer that if we're talking about the region and the zone as a whole, let's just stay contiguous. So, I think that Councilman Maloney had a really good point. Like, if we're going to ask these things and they're revocable, which I think is appropriate, I would just ask that if that was going to be put in effect, that you would have the opportunity to remedy the situation, as opposed to a surprise visit where they come in and they're like, we caught some fuel in here. Well, we just got it in. We haven't had a chance to siphon it out yet. And, your potential investment, everything you've set in motion, your momentum could be lost. I think that would discourage the growth of business, and it would be probably a cooling climate that you wouldn't necessarily want.
Okay. Councilmember Reeves. No, go ahead. You're up, Jeremy. Are you good? Okay. Kathy.
I'm going to go back to Tim's talk about the fuel situation. And again, if we have it as a broadband to where you're discouraging, or most people wouldn't be offering test drives, and this might be a moot point. But I would almost think that the fuel or no fuel would be almost more dependent upon the discretion of the fire department rather than city, because they are the ones as far as safety and things that way. So I'm not sure we as the city should be the ones to dictate that particular issue.
I would say incredibly valid.
To that point, Ryan or Catherine, could you speak to when in this type of process the fire district would review? Is that something that would happen when we actually had an individual come forward with an SRU request?
Yes,
Okay.
they're on one of the referral agencies, so they would comment on. And the fire code does have regulations regarding the storage of fuel. I don't know them, but they are contained in.
And then just on the revocation process, if that is heard by city council, then presumably does the individual or the business have to be notified that they are not in compliance, and then it's a publicly noticed public hearing, so they have time to come into compliance, and then when they come to city council for the hearing, they can say, we got this notice, we remedied it in 2 hours, please, Grace. Is that how that process is intended to work?
It's kind of like an order to show cause. So the notice would say, you need to appear at this public hearing and explain why your permit shouldn't be revoked. So obviously, if they've come into compliance, that would be evidence of why it should not be revoked. To take that one step further, and the code does not allow for this expressly, but if they were to come in and say, we've taken these steps and we just need another week or something like that, it's not expressed that council has the authority to say, okay, we'll continue the public hearing. I think it's kind of implied in there, but it's not expressed in there. So if we want to make those changes, I'd make them to that process and not here.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Like making them to the actual revocation part of the code rather than an individual hearing part. Thank you.
Just to note some exceptions, though, that McCaslins, who are right there across the street, who are fixing windows, or glass, and they pull the vehicles in, and they certainly don't siphon off all the fuel when they pull in there. And the other one that I don't know their name, but it's right across the street from you, and I just coming to City Hall tonight, they've got a big open door, and they pull the vehicles in there, and all of those have gas in there as well. You probably know who I'm speaking of, so.
I might.
So I don't know if we're being consistent, if we, right across the street, one of them, no gas, but McCaslin's are all good. And I'm not wanting to go after McCaslin's, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there's some consistency issues. So, Jeremy Reeves.
I know we've done a lot of things to change Main Street and everything, but if I remember correctly, there was a Panzer dealer directly across the street from you at one point, before you were there. And I know Linder Chevrolet used to be on the corner of, where Goodwill is now. So this is not something that we haven't done before. And so I know it's been a long time, but I don't see a problem that we haven't done it before. We couldn't do it again.
Councilmember Reeves, that's correct. We opened in 2001, and we neighbored successfully with Panzer Motorcycle Production. They had a full room of, and they were doing full service. They were building engines, they were breaking in engines, they were doing paint and body work, they were doing full assembly, they were doing delivery, and once the bike was fully assembled, it had a road test. And that was the first several years we were open, and it was non-problem for us, honestly. The customers, they didn't even actually know that it was there until I told them.
And so it didn't bother your business where there people were eating and all of that? All right.
It did
So
not.
you would have been the most impacted business, but we're not.
Correct.
Okay.
And it was brought up at the Planning Commission, and I do think it is probably something that I'm sure is city officials they hear, is that it was brought up, the noise of the engines of the vehicles. And I think that the one thing that's important to remember is it's a slippery slope, because I don't think, in fact, I know for a fact, unless it's changed, that there was not a decibel rating on noise ordinance. It was kind of at the discretion, and over the years, it's been kind of a more of a, hey, tone it down type of thing, as opposed to ticket and cite. And so if we have to look at it and say, this is not something that's enforceable, I think we have to kind of take it off the table a little bit as a problem item, because if we're not being across the board enforceable on people that are, trafficking or just parking, I think it's something we have to approach with caution. Not that I'm encouraging loud noises, not that I'm encouraging loud pipes. I'm just saying that that's been brought up to my attention a couple times, and I think that it's a little bit unfair, because it's like making the assessment of, if you own a Mustang, I'm sure you're probably going to pipe the exhaust a couple times. Well, maybe, but maybe not. I know some pretty law-abiding members that enjoy the lifestyle, and I think it would be unfair to classify them all as nuisance.
Well, before I go over with the other council members who want to speak, can I get a show of hands of how many of you are wanting to address this issue, just so I have a feel? Okay, we got 2, 3. Okay, that's helpful. I'd like to have Amy and Kathy speak, and then, if you don't mind, I'd like to put the other folks on, just so they get a chance to speak as well.
Sure.
Okay, very good. So, Amy, you're up first.
Just one additional question, actually, for you, Patrick. And this is something that I think we could do between first and second reading, but it sounds like there may be a couple of other classes of vehicles that aren't cars or RVs. They're the smaller vehicles, the UTVs and others that we may want to include in that B, to make sure that we're not being unnecessarily limiting. So I know UTVs for one, but that if you could look at that before second reading to make sure that we're as encompassing as possible, that would be much appreciated, assuming that it is it does go to second
The
reading.
use type that we have in the code specifies motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and snowmobiles. So if we're going to add UTVs to that definition, we probably have to amend that definition.
Completely agree.
Kathy?
Thanks.
Just another example of, right across the street is Fast Eddie's Hot Rod Shop.
That's what I was referring
And Fast Eddie has cars that also would have fuel in them. And so to me, for us to limit brand-new vehicles from having any type of fuel in them, I think is being silly in a sense.
And that's what I was getting at. I mean, that would be extremely tough on any business in this environment.
Okay, Greg, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to just ask some other folks to come on up so we can
Absolutely.
move forward.
Thank
So
you.
who else would like to speak? Yes, ma'am, you're welcome to come on up. And if you could give us your name, that would be appreciated.
Absolutely. My name is Marion Dorito, hence the last name. I have lived here my entire life, so Mr. Mayor and council members, if I could just speak on a few issues. We talked about blocks 1 through 9 as downtown Main Street, that is what it is considered. I will share with you, as a business owner at the same property that he is working with, I was there for 2 years. In 2 years, there was a tree that was cut down because of something. We never got a tree up. For Halloween, for Christmas, for any kind of downtown anything. It didn't start at First Street. It starts at 4th Street. We pay the same sales tax as everybody else. We have the same tax on the building as anyone else. However, I joined the chamber. I did everything I possibly could to try to get a little bit of business down there. And no matter how many times I went to someone, asked, why is it that how are we supposed to benefit from Christmas when all the stores are open and we're down there on 2nd Street and it's pitch black? There was not a light there even. The Christmas decorations that go down the nice streets, they stop at 4th Street. We do not have a Christmas decoration, and I think if you look right now, there's even blue lights down there. There's none at 2nd Street. So I love that we are consistent in the fact that we hold all 9 blocks as the same kind of nature. But I will tell you, as a business owner that now shut her doors and lost lots of money, that it upsets me that you can say that when I personally was right there and I know exactly what happened there, and that is how we were treated. In the same respect, I want to talk about buildings. I want to speak as a realtor of 31 years in Canyon City. I have shown building after building after building on Main Street that don't have correct sewage, are not wired correctly, they've got all of the wrong everything to make it a safety hazard. I have sold Greg Dorito 3 buildings on Main Street. The first one, per our inspection, I told him, don't you dare even buy that. And you know what? He bought it. He brought everything up to code. It was a lot of money, but he made the commitment as to what the city asked for and expected, and that was his first example. Number 2 is the restaurant of 25 years, and number 3 is 227 Main Street. I feel that Greg Dorito has been a great example of a person that abides by the law, believes that community is very, very important to him, and I think lead by example. Look at how he treats his building. Look how clean everything is. He has I don't know what you call it, some kind of a thing that cost $30,000 he had to put in, some kind of trap, and he was told that he was the first one and that other people would because it tore up a bunch of his inside of his property as well as the sidewalk. And you know what? No one else was ever forced or ever even took place in that example that they put Greg in. And then the minute that he went to South 9th Street, that's another building, but it's not on Main Street, then they were over there, trot, 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 oh, you have to put this thing in. And so because I was part of the transaction, I walked right over to Big Burger World, who has been there, we all know, for over 30 years and has a humongous business. Ask if that trap that Greg was required to put in across the street, if they had it. I'll give you the easy answer. It was no. They did not have it. So when we talk about consistencies and inconsistencies, I will tell you that Greg put that in, and I said, why are you putting that in? I even talked to them, the owners over there, and they're like, I don't know why he's putting it in. They never made us put it in. But he wanted to abide by the rules. He wanted to be a businessman that was respected. And he showed example time and time again in his 30 years of business ownership on Main Street that he is not a person that is here to cause trouble. He's not a person that has, you know, some of these rules that we're speaking of. You've got to also look at the person himself and ask yourself, is he the example of a property owner on Main Street that you guys would like to have? Then again, concern over just the betterment of downtown Main Street. Right next door to 227 Main Street is Mr. Estes' building. I don't even know how it stands up. I won't go over the whole condition of it, but it is very poor. And he's sitting there not paying sales tax for anything. At least in my 2 years, I paid $150,000 worth of sales tax to the city, even though I made zero money. So anything that's a betterment as a realtor to downtown Main Street is wonderful to us. So that when we go to sell a building and they don't understand all of these facets of things that have to be brought up to code and everything, would have to, you know, it trashes sales for buyers that are uninformed and do not have the money to do those kind of things. Greg Dorito has done it on every building that he has down here. And again, 30 years of business on Main Street, I just feel like there's something to be said about when we're talking about gasoline or not gasoline or whatever. I sat right across the street from, ma'am, the name of the building or business that had those fast cars. There were cars smoking out of there. You couldn't even see yourself, and motorcycles, foo, foo, foo. I mean, it was dangerous even down there. And no one has had a concern over safety at all. Greg Dorito has about a 50-page checkoff list being a owner of a restaurant that he must comply with or he won't stay in business. So basically, those were the things, and I hope that you will consider those things that I have said to you because I see it every day. And I just think that even though Greg Dorito is my brother, I'm very proud of the businessman that he is, and I just feel like that should be a consideration in the merit of what he's asking for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And again, we need to focus on the Central Business District as a whole, and there's no question about Greg's great business, his ethics and everything else, so I can vouch for that myself. Okay, who else? Mike. And again, just for the folks at home, if you could identify yourself, Mike.
Mike Sturika. I've been a resident of Canyon City for 69 years, all my life.
Okay.
Linder Chevrolet was at 8th and Main. It was Davidson Linder before that. It was McMillan's before that. It was there for over 50 years as a car dealership. When I watched the public hearing on Planning Commission a couple weeks ago, I sat there and said, this is the most anti-business set of rules I've ever seen. If you want to be business friendly, you can't put these type of stipulations on any kind of business. Fuel, for number one, if it's taken completely out of the vehicle, out of the whatever it is, the gaskets that hold the fuel in the carburetor are going to dry up and just basically ruin them to where a carburetor has to be rebuilt. Fuel injection, you can't take the fuel out of them or it causes a vapor lock, an air lock, and then it takes you more gas to get them out than it would to leave a little bit of fuel in them. Test drives, Greg said he's not going to allow test drives, but if another power sports company wanted to come in, or even a car dealership, which isn't defined here, but another motorsports type deal, and wanted to let their customers test drive a motorcycle, motorcycles are allowed on any city street. You can't prohibit them off of Main Street to take a test drive. And then the last thing is the SRU in 3 years. What other SRU do you have in place, any place in the town, that gives you a 3-year chance to close this business down? Why would I or Greg or anybody else as a businessman say, I'm going to agree to this and put money and time and effort into a business that could be shut down in 3 years? That's basically what I had to say. It's all been said before. Fast Eddie's is across the street. I hadn't thought of McCullar's having their vehicles, the vehicles in there for windshields and stuff, but there's another place that has gas. Well, in that same block with the McCullar's in the 300 block used to be the school bus garage, where they did repairs and fuel and diesel and everything else. Fire code might present a different picture on this, but to siphon all the fuel out of a vehicle, out of anything, can cause more damage than a little bit of fuel left in them.
Okay, thank you, Mike. There was one more hand back there. Yes, ma'am, come on up. Again, state your name so everyone can know on the video.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Lisa Dorito Goff, and I wanted to...
Need to pull that mic a little closer to you.
Is
There
that
you go.
better? Oh,
Yep, and one more time with your name.
I'm sorry.
One more time with your name.
Good evening, Council.
Okay.
Mayor. I just wanted to let you know my name is Lisa Dorito Goff.
Okay.
I grew up in Canyon City. I left, and I've been a Pueblo resident for 22 years and just recently moved back here. I have been an accountant for multiple small business, large business, and I've been the accountant for the Dorito family since 1992. I would like to speak on behalf of intent. I think intent will prove more things than anything else. Rules, regulations. You have to get down to the intent of what he is trying to do across the board for any business that would potentially come into the city. As an accountant, I can tell you honestly, Greg, don't get mad at me, there have been a lot of steps that my father, my brother, my sister, they all took. They were costly. It did not improve their bottom line. It took away from their bottom line. The intent goes back to the personal integrity and the character of the person we're talking about. And this is across the board for City of Canyon City. I think you should be evaluating the actual intent of people coming in and asking for deviations from where your regulations stand. If the intent is to improve the city, improve your revenue for the city of Canyon City, improve aesthetically, bring in more customers. Maybe they're going to come in and look at a motorcycle. They might eat dinner. They might buy something from Taylor's West. They might stay the night down at the local hotel. The intent overall is to improve the city of Canyon City, and many times to the bottom line detriment of themselves. And I can speak to that truthfully as the accountant since 1992. These guys don't have big bottom lines. They have really big hearts, and I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public are interested in speaking? Okay, any members of the council, before I close this hearing, want to address anything else? And Kathy, I see the request to speak.
I'm going to kind of summarize what I've heard, and I think this is, I'm all in favor of this ordinance. I do believe that we need to eliminate some of the 7 issues on there. I think that fuel restriction is something that needs to be eliminated. I feel that the Main Street test drives If they want to try and go downtown on a test drive with people pulling out from their angled parking, more power to them. I think they'd be smart to be off of Main Street, but I'm not going to tell them not to. I also believe the deliveries in the alley, if it's trying to specify it, that's too ambiguous. Again, to get to the point, are we talking about FedEx? Are we talking about UPS? Are we talking about delivering a new vehicle? So I think it's one of those, either tighten that up to be more specific as to what you're trying to do or whatever. And then as far as the actual 3 years on the SRU, I think it's like any other business. If they are not following the rules, then you take care of it through the normal channels of any business. Thank you.
Okay, Tim Dennehy.
Thank you. And you know, I agree with a lot of what Kathy just said. So, and yeah, unloading, you know, when somebody comes to unload a recreational vehicle, 99% of the time they're already crated. The business owner is the one who has to put them out. It's coming out in a wood crate. And I think we need to remember that. And then when I said the fuel thing, and I think, you know, some people in the audience know that what I was stating there, as far as draining it, that puts a huge burden on the business. And I've never, ever been into a showroom that did have fuel in one of their, I mean, they might have fuel in a vehicle in the back or something like that, but never have I seen one with fuel in it. And I highly, highly doubt that that would happen here. And with this ordinance, we could change it. With the person who's been speaking, I agree. Very integral person, absolutely great. I have spoke with him outside with this, but no, I think it's important that we, you know, we look at where Main Street's been. We look what we've done in the last 20, 30 years. I've been here 20 years, guys. I don't know the full history, but you know, I have full support with Greg I have full support on this ordinance. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the hearing, and so the public hearing is now closed at this point, and I do see that I've got the potential for a motion. So Amy Schmischer on the motion.
Thank you, Mayor Lund. I move that we approve ordinance number 7, series of 2026 with the following amendments. Section 1705120B, 1, add or locked area at the end. Strike number 2. Number 6, add delivery, after the word deliveries, add of vehicles. So it reads, deliveries of vehicles shall occur from the alley to the maximum extent possible. So change permissible to possible. And number 7, SRU approval may be revoked for cause. So strike shall be reviewed every 3 years and.
Okay, and is there a support to that? I see Jeremy, are you going to be able to support that one?
Okay,
second.
Can I ask a clarifying question? What was the first amendment that you made?
Sure. So B1 is vehicles shall be stored within an enclosed building, add or locked area.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion, Mr. Tony.
Would we add UTV to that definition?
Oh, yeah.
I would not like to make that amendment. I've asked Planner Mulready to look at the definition within the code, because I think we would need to change the definition in the code to mirror that up, but we will have second reading, so hopefully we can have that clarification at that time.
So just to clarify what Amy just said, not to clarify, but to stress the point, this is a first reading, and for an ordinance, it takes 2 readings. So the next meeting on May the 18th, this will come back before us again, and there is an opportunity to make additional changes to this language at that time. So right now, I have moved and supported. Is there further discussion on this motion? If not, I would encourage you all to vote, and the clerk will let us know the results.
Councilmember Tony, can I have your vote, please?
Aye.
And the rest of you have voted online? Okay?
Passed unanimously.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Council members, I'm pretty proud of you tonight, all of you. Thank you. Okay, let's see where we're
Yesterday
at
was
here.
another dish.
Lost my spot on the thing. 6-5. Okay, here we go. So we do have, the next one is on the parking, right? Is that right, where I'm at?
Yes.
Okay, here we are. Okay, so, second reading and the adoption by title only of Ordinance 5, Series of 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City, Canyon City, Colorado, appropriating additional sums of money to defray.
Sir?
That's not it.
Sir, no, we are on 12A, search and rescue presentation.
Okay, is this ordinance number 6? Is that where I'm at?
No, sir, you're at 12A, search and rescue presentation.
Oh, they're not here tonight, so.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Then
So
you're at
they
12B.
called me up, I should have mentioned that, they are not here, so.
Okay.
So I
we're
am on the right spot then.
We're on ordinance 3, second reading.
Yep, I see it. So, second reading and adoption by title only of Ordinance 3, Series of 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City, amending Title 9, Division 5 of the Canyon City Municipal Code concerning city parking operations. And, City Administrator, if you would talk through that a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is second reading. We've not received any additional public comment, and staff would recommend approval on second reading.
Okay, is there any questions from the council regarding this to the City Administrator?
I do, sorry.
Go ahead.
Did we define the hours and all that?
We're doing, Chief, 30 minutes before and after closing of the parks.
Yes, sir, I think that's what we're
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I would be looking for a motion then. Jeremy?
I make a motion to pass, what is it, Resolution 3, or Ordinance 3?
Ordinance 3.
Ordinance 3 of parking.
Okay, so as far as the adoption, the language there, that's the motion. Is there support? And I see Amy.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you request to speak?
I have Jeremy, and then I have second on Amy, so. I'm looking at, I see you want to speak, Tim, but I'm looking at the thing and I'm all working through it. So I think, Amy, you've supported it, correct? Okay, very good. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, go ahead and vote, please. And the clerk
Councilmember
can,
Tony, can I have your vote, please?
Aye.
and the clerk will let us know when it's done.
Unanimously passed.
Okay, very good. We also have another second reading of adoption, and that's where I need to be, right? Ordinance number 5. So second reading and adoption by title only of Ordinance 5, Series of 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for the City of Canyon City, Colorado for the 2025 budget. And again, City Administrator, if you will explain that one a little more.
Yes, sir. This, again, is a second reading. We have not received any additional public comment, and staff would recommend passing on second reading.
Okay? And this is dealing with the health insurance issue.
This is...
Just an amendment to the budget.
Amendment to the budget, yes, sir.
Yeah, with a number of issues. Okay, got it. I'll look for someone to make a motion. Okay, Sarah, I'll let you're making a motion.
I am.
First one, congratulations.
Thank you. I move to approve a bill for ordinance number 5, series of 2026, regarding the additional appropriated sums to defray the expenses for the 2025 budget year.
Okay, and Jerry?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, call the council to vote.
Councilmember Tony, what's your vote?
Aye.
It says something wrong. It's okay. I don't know what happened, but I got it. Okay. Passed unanimously.
Okay, and then the last one, oh, well, we got more after that, but this is the second reading and adoption by title only of ordinance number 6, series 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City, amending section 2.73.050 of the Canyon City Municipal Code concerning membership of the Municipal Ethics Commission. Administrator, if you could talk about that.
Yeah, this is a second reading. We did have several red lines that were submitted by Mayor Pro Tem Schmischer. And I don't know, Mayor Pro Tem Schmischer, do you want to talk about your red lines?
Oh, sure. I had just worked with the city attorney on a few clarifying refinements to make sure that the process is clear and that it functions as intended. I think that they're fairly targeted and focused on structure.
But that did expand before, just for clarification, there were 3 members on the board dealing with ethics, and the city attorney is being removed from that. That would have left 2, and you've suggested expanding that to 5. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. I think that it's really important that, particularly with the city attorney no longer serving as a voting member, that we have a really clear structure and additional members to ensure that we do have clarity and that it works consistently over a long period of time.
Okay, and I think this is a really important issue. So the due process issue of making certain that someone isn't subject to false accusations or everything else. We've built in this substantial due process rights for anyone to come forward. And would you mind, Catherine, explaining just the due process issues on this particular thing? Because I do view it as really important stuff.
Sure. So I think the situation that the Ethics Commission is going to be dealing with are complaints, and that right to be heard, that due process issue that you're referring to, the right to be heard by the individual who is the subject of the complaint. And I would say that Councilmember Schmischer's changes include kind of an initial review of the complaint before it goes to that public hearing, to actually meet some criteria there on, I think it's the 3rd page of the ordinance at the top, at least the red line version, those 3 criteria that there's an initial review before it even gets any further into that public hearing process. And obviously that process has notice and a right to be heard, which is the due process component.
Okay, and then what are the potential penalties that could come out of this? If someone goes through and the complaint is filed and the due process rights are there and they are found to be in violation, what are penalties that might apply?
So it's subject to the general penalty provision, I believe, of the code. And can be prosecuted by the city prosecutor in the municipal court for a violation of that section of the code.
Okay. Any other questions from any other council member?
I've got a couple. I think when we ask about this, we just wanted to replace the attorney and have the attorney as our consultant attorney, as just like we do the board. It grew into 5 members. We have lots of red lines in this, lots of modifications. On page 156, 157, 158, 159, 160. And now we're requiring experience in law and investigations. We've changed this quite a bit from the first request there. I think we may need more time to look this over again.
Okay, is that a suggestion that we hold off until May 18th to review this?
Yes.
Is there anyone that has a challenge with that, to give it another 2 weeks to take a look
We're
at
actually
this?
going to need a motion from Councilmember Tomey if that's what he would like to do.
Councilmember Tony, you want to make a motion to that effect? The correct motion would be to table it until May 18th?
Yes, I would like to make that motion to table it for us to review, then take it back up on May 18th.
Is there support to that motion? We are missing 2 council members. Oh, Tim's over there. I thought you were gone, Tim. Is there anyone who wants to support that? Okay, motion does not have a second. Is there another motion on the floor? Amy?
Thanks. I move that we approve on second reading and adoption by title only Ordinance 6, Series of 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City amending Section 2.73.050 of the Canyon City Municipal Code concerning membership of the Municipal Ethics Commission.
Sarah, do you have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion on this motion? Seeing none for the discussion, let's go ahead and vote. Council?
Councilmember Tony, your vote?
Nay.
Passed 6-1 with Councilmember Tony saying no.
Okay. Motion passes and is adopted. Last one is introduction and first reading by title only of Ordinance 8, Series 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City repealing Chapter 14.42 of the Canyon City Municipal Code concerning fire protection and EMS impact fee. City Administrator.
Yes, sir. This ordinance is to repeal the EMS fire impact fee. Our building department currently collects the fee on behalf of the fire district, and it passes through to the contractor or the end user owner, whoever's paying that permit fee. Often it looks like it's being charged by the city. It is not an actual city charge. It's something that we collect on behalf of the fire district. The fire district has recently raised their rates for those impact fees considerably, and it's the staff's position and recommendation that we no longer collect that fee because it does have a negative impact on the image of the city and the building department.
Okay, and they have another plan to increase it in the future as well, right?
Yeah, they've only raised it to a percentage of their recommended cost allocation plan. So they do have plans in the future to raise it to that full cost allocation. We would still include them as part of our referral process. They would still, the customer would still have to pay that fee. They would pay it directly to the fire district. And once that fee has been paid, they would let the city know that it's been paid, and that would be part of the referral process to move an application forward.
Okay, Amy?
Have we communicated this to the fire district? And if so, what is their plan for collection?
We have, I think, Kathy Olsh, our building official, is here. Do you mind coming up? I know that you've had those conversations with them. I've spoken with the chief. They will plan on taking those collections directly there at the new fire station. Kathy, anything you want to add to that?
No, they are planning on taking all of the impact fees at the fire station. They will not sign our routing sheet until they have received the fees.
And they are currently taking these fees for the county at the fire station as well. So they already have a process in place.
Great, that's great to hear. And what is our process if somebody doesn't sign our routing sheet?
So it would not move forward until the routing's been signed off by the district.
Okay, thank you.
Is there really a change in policy though? Because if we took the collection, that would have already been there as well, and they wouldn't have had access to that.
Yeah, that's correct.
There's no practical change.
It's just a matter of where it falls in the process.
City doesn't want to be blamed for what the fire department's doing. That's the bottom line?
That is correct.
Okay. Is there a motion on this particular first reading? Anyone? Kathy, go ahead.
Yes, I move that that the building department seeks this county, let me start that over.
Yeah,
That was
we're doing the
not
ordinance.
very good, it's late, what can I say?
We're good.
But I do believe that I move that we approve on first reading the ordinance number 8, series of 2026. Well, that wasn't so bad.
That works. Good. Amy? Already.
Second.
You don't have that button in front of you there, Fred, so sorry about that. Amy's already got you, so. Okay, it's been moved and seconded on adopting on first reading ordinance number 8, series 2026. Is there discussion on this motion? Hearing none, I'll call the council to vote.
Aye.
I'm sorry?
Thank you, Fred.
Oh, Mike wants to speak. Go ahead, Mike. Thank you, I didn't see that.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I did put this on my request. I want to say thank you to city staff. I think this is the best thing you've ever done. Just to make sure you all watch social media, and the city is blamed for everything. No carnival, the fire department's new expensive building the city put up. The city gets blamed for everything when it's not the city, it's the rec district, it's the sand district, and I think this is a good step into making sure that people know the fire department is doing this and not the city.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And Mike's request was specific to this issue, so I just want to note that. And let's go ahead and vote.
Passed unanimously. I caught yours earlier, Fred.
Okay, very good. And that motion passes, and we'll take that up on second reading, I would assume, on May the 18th. Is there any other business? I see none on the agenda, so I think I'm ready to call this meeting good. Again, Sarah, welcome to the council. We're happy to have you here, and the meeting is adjourned.